Hey, I'm Bear,
And I'm Michael the Wolfman Hart.
and this is BearHart. Episode 5, I think is what this is.
11-7.
11-7.
11-7. It's only been a week since our last one.
That's amazing, actually.
Well, we're slackers.
The fact that, we got 2 episodes in a week.
I'm really tired of hanging out with you.
Good. I don't like hanging out with you either. Good thing we got a guest today.
Hell yeah. Say hi, guest.
Hello, guest.
So what happened? What happened since last week's episode?
You had to get up early to go to work, so we didn't practice.
Yeah, I had to be.
And then you, the next day, invited me out for drinks.
Oh yeah,
That's
we
right.
did go out for drinks, and then we decided that we were going to enter the NPR Tiny Desk contest.
We decided?
Mel decided.
We decided? No, you linked it to me and said, hey, get over here early Sunday so we can record this.
Yeah,
And you've been stressed all day.
I have. Well, I mean, you were late, and then
19 minutes, man.
19 minutes.
It's not like I was an hour late.
You would have been. Who was an hour late?
I don't know.
You weren't. You weren't an hour late.
No, I showed up right when I wanted to, actually.
Oh, see.
I went out to dinner and then played with my dogs. And
Actually,
yeah.
you were here a little after 7:30, so you were a little bit late from what we originally said.
Who is our guest? I don't even know.
Should we keep that a mystery or
I don't know. It seems like it'd kind of be fun just to not say.
see if anyone can figure it out?
Maybe.
No, I don't think we should.
I'll slip at some point. I know I'll just call you by name.
Hi, Scott.
Hello.
So today we recorded a video, which we posted on our YouTube for the Tiny Desk contest. We did a video for Solus, and we entered.
There we go.
Cool. That's
Good luck to us.
Good luck to us. What do you think?
I think we're...
Are we gonna get picked to tour the nation?
No.
You never know, man. Your harmonica was pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It was.
I
it was
used
on
your
point.
harmonica.
You did. It sounds better than the other ones.
The other ones sound great, man. I don't know what you're talking about. You got that for me for Christmas.
You're the one that's been bitching about them nonstop. Every time you play them, oh, it doesn't sound as good as yours.
Yeah, no, well, that resonates better, and you know it. That's what your exact words say.
Yes,
So there you go.
it does. All right. Well, what are we going to talk about today?
You're the one who asked
Anybody
me.
know? Anybody know what we're talking about?
No, actually.
Oh, well, we're going based off of the first comment that we got on our very first episode on YouTube, which was from Scott Busbea,
Oh.
which was, hey, you guys should do an episode about the healing properties of music.
Yeah, that was your topic, dude. And you're here, and that's why you're our guest.
Our first guest, actually.
All right.
First guest.
So a little bit of background about Scott. This is the guy that got Bear into playing the guitar.
Yeah.
So this is the friend.
This is the friend.
Yeah, we've known each other for, since you were 16?
Yeah. So, what, 15, 17 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
You youngins.
Been a long time. All right. Well, it was your idea. So when you made that comment,
What were you thinking?
I mean, I don't know so much if it's the healing properties of music, right? That sounds kind of metaphysical and shamanistic or something. It's more just music is like a healing outlet or a healing tool, and music in general is just like an exploration tool to kind of understand more about yourself, understand more about the universe, the world you live in. I mean, a lot of the top songs you see today and hits and stuff, minus all the crazy pop shit, is usually going to be political in nature and stuff like that, or coping with loss, or dealing with death, or dealing with breakups, or, going to the beach and partying and having a good time. Or if you live in Texas, sitting on a tailgate and drinking a beer in a field somewhere.
I'm so down with that.
Because that's pretty much every song. But no, that was just something I thought would make an interesting episode, because that's what music's been for me my entire life, is a way for me to just learn more about the world And it comes through mostly lyrics and songs, right? Like you hear something, you're like, I don't know what they're talking about, or I want to learn more about that. And then the next thing you know, you're neck deep in like some kind of Carl Jung philosophy book, or Taoism, or something that you would have never looked at before.
Didn't you also just like recently write a song because of a family member that passed away?
Yeah. My uncle passed away, which is kind of, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's good because he was suffering for a long time. He had to get both of his legs amputated multiple times. Like
I remember
each
you
time
talking
it kept
about
coming
that.
higher and higher from a weird like bone disease he had in his leg from a surgery he got. And I mean, life was pretty rough. He was kind of at the end of his string for a while. He didn't want to keep going. And I think this is just one of those things. He died peacefully, he died in his sleep. Just sleep apnea, basically.
That's what I want to do.
And
that's how I want to go.
yeah. And we used to be close when I was young, but then you get older, you move away. I live in Texas. He lives in Florida. You don't see each other much, but it hit me a lot harder than I thought it would, and that's what led to me.
It comes out of left field, man.
Yeah, and anytime I've ever felt really like sad or down, I've always picked up a guitar, and I just start playing. It doesn't matter what it is. It's an outlet for me to just kind of let my feelings out in a different way.
So was it an intentional thing to pick up the guitar and actually write a song, lyrics and rhythm, and have a full song come out, or was it more of a I'm going to do what I always do and play, and then suddenly you had lyrics pop into your head?
Kind of both. So I found out at night, and I was laying in bed, and I took it pretty hard, and then I fell asleep, and the next day, just periodically throughout work, I would just kind of get overwhelmed with emotion, right? And when I went home, I was like, I'm gonna upload a cover of Black Gives Way to Blue by Alice in Chains.
I love that song.
Yeah, in honor of him, because that's one of my favorite songs dealing with loss that anyone's ever written. So I uploaded that, and then once I recorded that, I just started playing because there was a lot of emotion inside me, and I liked this. I had this really melancholy riff come up that I really, really dug, and then the lyrics just started coming. And so it was kind of both, where it's like I just free-formed a lot of it, and then once I got that structure down, I went back and was like, okay, how can I adapt these lyrics to actually mean something that actually kind of encompasses who he is and how I viewed him as a person, as an individual.
Do you find that settled you? Like some of the emotions?
Oh, yeah, definitely. After... I mean, just writing the song in general, right? It takes a lot of work to write a song. You get distracted from it, so it's a good outlet. But at the same time, once you get to that point where it's like, okay, I'm going back and I'm trying to fine tune things and I'm trying to adjust the lyrics so they flow, but so they also encompass like personal things about him and kind of speak to him, while at the same time it's vague enough to kind of just be a song anyone could get into. And once I got to that point, I think that was like getting over the hump. Because then once I was done, it wasn't like, oh man, I'm done. The emotions are gone. It's more like I'm done and I just feel better having gone through that process.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So because that's not the only song that you've written about loss, right?
No.
So when you finish those, and in this case you posted it, I mean, I don't think you've posted all of them.
No.
But do you ever go back in and play them again?
Oh, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I flew out to California to visit my nephew that just got born, and my mom was flying out, and it's my mom's brother.
Yeah.
And she took it really hard because they were close their entire life. And I flew out, and as soon as I got to the house, Evan, my sister's fiance, happened to have a guitar, and I picked it up, and my mom was sitting there, and I was like, let me play you this song. I know you've heard it, but I want to play it for you. And that was pretty hard, because as soon as I started playing it and got into the first verse, she broke down. And then my sister broke down, and I'm like, shit, I don't even know if I can continue singing this song at this point, because I'm starting to break down.
No, you just keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, you just keep going, and I don't know, it was a really cool experience, because I've never had any of the songs I've written kind of hit that note where in person I'm seeing it affect someone. Usually it's been very personal and about me. So that was kind of cool.
I mean, I think we kind of touched on it in the last episode, but that's kind of one of the reasons you write music, is for other people to be able to relate to it and to actually touch people in a way that, it invokes emotion. So I think that's awesome that you were able to do that. I don't know that I've ever had that type of experience where played and sang something for somebody and had them have that type of reaction to it.
But have you ever actually just written something because you felt bad about anything?
I don't think that I have.
Or even frustrated or just pissed off or anything?
No, because when I'm in that state, for me, like, I can reflect back and write something based on that emotional state and go, okay, where was I 5 years ago, right? But when I'm in that emotional state, I become shut off. And so when I try to pick up a guitar and play something, I just instantly become frustrated with it. If I try to write lyrics, it nothing sounds right to me because I'm so focused on whatever it is that I'm upset about that I can't detach myself from the situation.
I know when I'm feeling depressed and things like that, I like to pick up my guitar and just strum it. I don't necessarily go into it trying to write a song or try to like write anything lyrically to it. I just like hearing the tone, and it just gets my mind off of everything. And then there are definitely times where it's like, I've got something for this. Let me get my pen and paper out and just start scribbling it out. And
I mean, that's how all my songwriting goes. Everything I've ever written, and Bear knows, we used to play a lot together, a lot more metal stuff, but he would be around me when I was jamming on like my acoustic and playing things that I normally don't put a lot of effort into. I just kind of fiddle around, and a lot of the times I'll start strumming, and it's funny because you mentioned you get frustrated and it's hard for you to find that outlet. For me, that's how I cope with that. So if I'm feeling sad about something, right, you can talk to someone about it. You can talk to your family member, you can talk to your girlfriend, your wife, whoever it may be. For me, a lot of the times, it was like talking to myself. So I would come up with a rhythm.
Talking with your guitar.
That actually makes a lot of sense.
And then I wouldn't really so much be thinking about lyrics, but more of like a melody. And then I would just try to add in words how I feel to that melody, which obviously wouldn't end up being the song, but it would be like, I'm sad, like,
I work a little bit differently.
Go on, etc.
When I play my guitar, it's mainly like coming up with like a sweet rhythm. That's what I'm working on that entire time. Lyrics for me, those happen separately. So if I am feeling down, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to pick up a pen and paper and start scribbling things out. Like free associated writing. I love doing that kind of stuff. I used to write like a lot of slam poetry too, so I'll get that all out. But now that I've been writing music with you for the past few years, I try to turn those into songs as much as I can.
Yeah.
I keep a notebook in my car, and that's when I work on.
It's funny to hear the differences though, because for me, I can't pick up a guitar and go, okay, yeah, I like this rhythm, and then instantly put lyrics to it. I have to go back to something that I've written previously, completely separate from whatever it is I'm playing. And what I'll actually do is I'll go through all of our lyrics and go, no, oh wait, that might work. Start singing it and decide, that doesn't really work. But yeah, I can't just sit down and have something come out.
Yeah, I've never had success that way.
Like going back and looking at lyrics.
Yeah, I mean, and this is part of my problem as a musician. I'm pretty selfish when it comes to being a musician. Like, I want things to sound how I want them to sound.
Yeah.
You selfish? Nah.
Yeah, and that's how it's going to end up being. So when I'm writing, I can't just take lyrics from something or, like, poems I've written. I can't just be like, okay, I'm just going to try and insert this into the song because, to me, the music is the song.
And so for me...
And the feelings are already there in me. I just have to figure out how to articulate those feelings into words.
When I mentioned that I write on the side and everything else like that, when I'm just playing my guitar, that's a separate piece. And then when I'm writing, that's a separate piece. I never try to put those two things together when I'm feeling down and I just need something to clear my head. I mean, other things I do to clear my head when I'm feeling bad, it's like, used to get on a BMX bike and just go rip it up through the streets for like a few hours and things like that. But I mean, for music-wise, I don't know. You hit that one chord that just sounds really nice and sweet, and then you're like, well, I'm going to do a little bit of this, and it's nice.
I wish I could do that. I can't.
Why?
Because why do I wish I could do that?
No, well, okay, yeah, that's bad. But have you ever tried, like...
Don't listen to a word he says. He used to always tell me,
no, here we go.
I can't play and sing. I can't play and sing. And I'm like, yes, you can play and sing. You just have to practice it. Like, you can do it. And he would never try. Like, I would just try to get him to say anything while he was playing a song. And he would refuse to do it. And then he
it's not
moves out on his own. And the next thing I know, he's playing and singing.
So that was kind of Mel's fault. And it wasn't, and even now, it's not refusing to do it. it's a mental block, and it's not for a lack of wanting to, because I definitely want to. You know, I want to be able to pick up guitar, strung a 3-4 chord rhythm, and just, you know, instantly throw whatever the fuck down to it, just goofy stuff even. Because you're really good at that.
Yeah.
Like you can
He's
pick,
awesome
you
at
can
that.
pick things out of the environment, and then suddenly you have a verse, a chorus, another verse, and you go back to that chorus. And I have a mental block against doing that.
Christmas songs.
Yeah, well,
Christmas songs, right? Yeah.
Probably on the laptop you have, I know there's a song where I'm singing. It's a great song, and it's not finished at all. It's completely just like improv, but I'm singing about a blueberry muffin. Like that, I didn't know what to sing about, and I had this rhythm going, just like whatever, and we were just goofing off, and that was what came out. And it's like, this is actually, I'd probably have a blueberry muffin song. Screw it.
I've got a question for you, Bear. So if you're not the type of individual that picks up a guitar when you're feeling bad or anything else like that to try to clear your head, and you don't try to write music when you're in those kinds of moods, what are your thoughts about music and its healing properties?
What do you mean?
How would you define it? Like, where do you see it happening?
For me, it's listening to other people's music.
Okay.
It's finding, I don't know if this is the right word for it, but finding solace in somebody else's words, and knowing that there's other people out there that have had the same experience, and being able to relate to the way that they articulate
It just
how
brings
they're
me down
feeling.
so much more every time.
It explains why he's in the country so much now.
That's also true.
That is like
also
what
true.
country's all about. It's about relating to the simple
Right.
experience.
Yeah.
And like for me, it's more about changing my perspective. Not so much, and don't get me wrong, there are songs out there that I relate to, and I'm like, this is just a really good song. Zach Brown's great for that.
Yeah.
But you take someone like, I don't know, like Tool. Tool's a great example. My favorite band. I've
I knew
been
he was
listening
gonna bring
to
up
forever.
Tool.
It's going to happen anywhere I'm at. If Tom Washburn listens to this, he's going to probably yell at me because I always bring up Tool. But no, so you get something that explains something you've been through or a feeling you've had, but they do so in a way that you've never thought of before.
Yeah.
And it really kind of makes you take a step back and look
And
inside and be like, how do I actually feel? Like, because somebody else just explained it, and I never thought of it that way.
Puts it in perspective.
Yeah, and it changes that perspective. And again, going back to like kind of what we started the episode with, a lot of that type of stuff makes me start wanting to learn about, well, what other perspectives are out there. Like, if I'm feeling this way, if there's like this, like Lateralis is a great song. It's weird, and the Fibonacci sequence and all this stuff going on. And it's about just life spiraling out and all this stuff. When I listened to that song as a teenager, it was just a cool song.
Yeah.
But the more I started registering the lyrics, the more I'm like, well, what's the Fibonacci sequence? What is the sacred geometry? What is all this stuff? And then I'm reading all these crazy, like, weird quasi-occult books and learning about, you know, different scientific terms and all this other stuff that, I mean, literally changes your life because you have a different perspective on everything.
See, and I kind of have that in a different way, because I can listen to a simple song and listen to the lyrics and relate to them, but at the same time go, I would have never put it that way, right? So it does kind of trigger that same mindset of like, oh, okay, you know, it's a different way of phrasing it. But for me now, with a lot of it, and from the healing aside, from a musician standpoint, I go, okay, how can I look at things differently so that when I'm writing lyrics, I can phrase them differently that, you know, maybe have a little better melody sense to them.
A thesaurus.
Or
get one of those.
That's what the internet's for, man.
Exactly.
You don't need to buy a thesaurus. Just Google it.
You just
Google
look
it.
up a thesaurus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or type in one word. You can Google that. It'll give you all the different meanings and everything else like that. I mean, I find myself when I'm just writing alone, if I don't like the way I stated something on paper, I have Googled it before.
I do it all the time.
And just to see if there's something else, like a different way of
Really?
phrasing.
I do it all the time.
Like when you're writing lyrics.
Yeah.
When I'm actually trying to write a song and not just goof around, and I'm trying to put that final polish on it, there's always going to be a couple lines or verses that I'm like,
You put
it
that
just
together at the
doesn't
time.
quite fit.
Yeah.
Like, it's a good placeholder, but it's just not hitting that mark that I'm looking for.
We have that happen all the time.
And so
Yeah.
I will go and look for just different ways to phrase things or different words that mean the same thing, maybe even a different language.
Think of a different analogy.
Yeah.
That's big on me. I love using analogies to describe my feelings or a situation. And that seems to really help. When I'm stuck on something, like oh, yep. That doesn't sound right. I'll just write this for now. Just put that there.
Yeah.
And then come back to it later on, and then I'm like, oh. But I hate it because there are definitely times where I put the analogy of the new phrase in there, and now I've got to change the next 5 lines.
See, for me, I have to essentially write a story. If I'm going to sit down and write a song, I can't go lyric. Okay, this would be a good chorus, right? Lyric. I have to actually write it out as a story.
You like to paint a picture.
Yeah, and then I pick and choose lines and words from that and figure out how to arrange them that fits the melody that I hear in my head. I'm not able to just, I don't know, write a song. It doesn't work for whatever reason. It's like kind of goes back to that mental block. Like
You've made it work before. I've sat down and made you write a song one night.
But we bounce things off of each other. That's one of the big
I purposely
things.
stepped back that night and made, you tried to get me to, I don't know what to write next. I don't know what I was like, well, figure it out, Bear. I literally said that 3 or 4 times during that session alone. You can do it. You just it's self-doubt right off the bat. You're like, I can't do this. You put that block on yourself,
right? And
instead of just trying it.
And I think part of it too is, especially sitting here talking with both of you, it's it doesn't come as naturally to me. I have to really fucking work to write lyrics. And I have to analyze everything that I'm writing because
that's your problem.
I
you
don't know.
overanalyze.
I don't know if it's
You're a perfectionist person. You immediately you don't give yourself enough credit when it comes to those kinds of situations. And I think that you do have it in you to just write and do it. You do. You put that mental block on yourself. You've talked about it this entire time.
Yeah,
it's your own mental block.
I'm not saying that I don't put it on myself.
That's why I said don't say, oh, I can't do that. Then you're limiting yourself. But it's like all great art, right? That phrase, all great art is never finished.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because at some point you have to walk away. Otherwise, something that was great today, and then you listen to it tomorrow, and it's not quite right, and then you tailor it and change things, and then you listen to it
I've been writing with Bear,
and you just keep doing that, and the next thing you know,
it's completely different from what it would originally was supposed to be.
It's like, what's your goal? Is your goal to try and create the perfect song? Well, that's probably never going to happen.
Right.
Or is it to capture a moment?
Right.
But that happens with him all the time. We'll go back and we'll be practicing a few of our songs, and he's like, I want to put this here. I want to do this. And I was like, keep it simple, stupid. I say that to him all the time because
I think to a degree it's important, though. You got to be able to...
As my guitar playing has been progressing, yes, I mean, it's given him a lot more opportunity to toss his style on there and everything else.
Yeah.
And I appreciate those moments, but there's certain songs we just don't need to touch anymore, dude. We should just leave them the way they are and move forward.
I definitely think we have a couple songs that don't need to be touched, but for the most part, a lot of our songs don't have 2 guitar parts, right? It's just been me playing rhythm and then us coming up with lyrics for it. So a lot of those songs could use some added dynamic that would just make the songs that much more powerful and that much better.
But you don't look at it that way. The minute you start this dynamic needs to be over the top.
No. I mean, maybe in some cases, but for the most part, it needs a little bit extra, and I'd be happy with them after that. But we need to get you comfortable playing what I'm playing so that we can add that dynamic to it.
I mean, you guys are also just 2 guitarists.
Yes.
So it's going to be hard to,
hey, we got a harmonica in this
look
now.
at how many artists just write acoustic albums. There's not a lot of them.
There's not.
It's really hard to do. And I think if you guys started dabbling more into other instruments, even if it's on the computer, to be able to layer different stuff in there, you're going to find that a lot easier.
You do that yourself, right?
Which I want to do, yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's actually a good point, because you don't actually use any recording software.
No.
You record yourself like a quick video, and then you'll play over your video I've seen you do that before.
Because for me, again, a lot of the reasons I play music is I enjoy it, but it's an outlet. So it's like I'm never usually playing music with the goal of I'm going to write this song or I'm going to write this album. Like, I just like to jam, and then cool stuff comes out, and sometimes I'll like something enough to actually work on it for a couple weeks or so to turn it into a song or somewhat of a song, but most of the time I don't. So there's no reason for me to try and get high quality recordings of what I have.
That one riff that you were playing,
just capturing stuff.
The one I was calling the Incubus riff.
Oh yeah.
I want you to finish that one up. That sounds really awesome.
I did drag everything onto my computer and actually kind of separate it because there's a bunch of different styles that I play in, right? Like I have like that super just heavy groove metal stuff that I usually is what I'm jamming, but then I have like your normal like kind of country folk, soft, melancholy acoustic.
Few of those,
and then I have more of those what I would call like happy, spacey, weird, just
some of those sound
like
really
fun
cool
riffs. Yeah,
I would love to experiment with a couple of those. I wouldn't mind writing something.
Well, you've talked about in the past too about wanting to put together albums,
yeah.
right, and have different kind of genres of albums
Mm-hmm.
that you put out. Is that something that you're still considering? Like, have you thought about it recently?
No.
Not at all.
No, it's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is.
You go back to the perfectionist thing, right? Like, I would have no problem writing songs. I have no doubt about that. But it's more about the type of songs I want to write. Unless I get a band together, like a full band that's going to carry that weight, it's going to be a lot of work on me to learn how to use drum machines really well, make them sound good in terms of the mixing and mastering, incorporate a bunch of the other instruments that I want, like violins and flutes and all this other stuff from all the progressive metal I listen to, and just make all that sound good. And then there's the glaring thing of I am not a good singer. So for a lot of the stuff,
no, yes you are.
I would probably have to find somebody to sing for those songs.
Well, but I mean, you could do a collaboration type thing. Like if you wrote a song and you knew what you wanted it to be, and you had lyrics, you could bring a drummer in and have somebody send you a drum track, right? You could find somebody that plays violin, have them send you the violin track, and credit them if you publish it, right? I guess my question though is, because it's something that you've thought about in the past, and given the topic that we're covering, do you think that the music that you write for your outlet, right, to make yourself feel better, do you think that it could help other people?
Yeah.
So why not put it out there?
Because I don't care about other people.
Fair enough.
I mean, I do,
right,
but when it comes to my music, that's not why I'm writing it.
Yeah.
I'm not writing it for anyone, which is probably why I don't take it as serious and why I'm not pursuing it so hard in terms of let's actually make this a job.
All his music's for him.
Yeah, it's always just been for me to find something that sounds cool, and then I'll show a couple friends like, hey, check out this riff.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty neat. The closest I've ever come to actually writing was when me and you literally made it a job. We would come home, we would play for at least 1 hour every day. We'd run through the songs we had. We'd start jamming other riffs and mess around with it. But that was the closest I've ever came.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's definitely a lot of work. And then,
it's a lot of work for you. I just put it all on your
asshole bandmates.
What? I write stuff.
Maybe I should get Bear in my band, then I could just let him carry all the weight. I'm like, Bear, do this, Bear, do that.
He's really good at it. He's got strong shoulders.
I mean, he is a bear, so
it's true. It is true. I mean, I think it would be fun, though. I think if at any point that you decided that you actually wanted to put together an album, I would love to come in and do a collaboration.
Yeah, you're supposed to get a drum set, and you're supposed to drum for us.
I'm still going to get a drum set, but that requires money.
Hey, Mike, you should pitch in.
I mean, here's the thing, right?
Whoa. You spent $1,200 on alcohol.
Priorities, man. Priorities. Come on. You got to make it through the day-to-day. Alcohol's a lot better at doing that than a drum set.
Oh, well, no, because music's healing.
Yeah.
That'll get you through it, man. You don't need the alcohol.
Just pound on some drums.
I can't play my drums at like midnight.
You can.
My neighbors would
you
get
just
really
would
mad.
get the cops called on you.
I may not like people, but I'm not an asshole.
That's debatable. Debatable.
I would not do my neighbors like that. They're cool.
All right, that's fine. Well, I'm out of beer.
I'm just about there.
So you know what that means.
Shit's done.
It's over.
I'm over this already.
Yeah, and I actually forgot our outro again, so I'm going to say fuck it. Scott, man, it was a pleasure having you on.
Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for being our first guest.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really talk about the healing properties of music, but
Do you got something else to say about it?
no.
No? All
We
right.
more talked about
I mean, the
how
only
we,
other thing I
how
found.
we all write.
Yeah.
I mean, I've ended up seeing like when I was doing some Google searches about the whole thing. There's a couple rehab centers that have like music programs that allow people that once they get all anxious and everything else like that, when they're going through their withdrawals, they basically just give them an instrument and allow them to play it, and that seems to be super positive and helpful for them. Also, like music programs in hospitals, like children's hospitals, especially bringing in musicians just to perform for them for a day to put a smile on their face.
Man, there was a story, and this is I'm probably butchering this fucking story.
Okay.
But because it was a while ago, but it was about this really old guy in a nursing home for old people and stuff, and he used to be a famous jazz musician, not like super top charts, but he was a really good jazz musician. He played in a band, and he got really bad Alzheimer's. He didn't know what was going on. He had trouble just functioning, and there was somebody who kind of brought music back into his life and started getting him to play, and it was like night and day, where he had Alzheimer's and he couldn't really function, but when he got on the instrument, it all just came back to him.
Muscle memory.
Yeah, and that was really cool. Like,
and
that
that's
was super
something
powerful.
Dude, that kind of gives me chills. I mean, that's
it was
fucking awesome.
It was really, really powerful, and you could just see there was videos and stuff, and he's just so happy, and so they ended up having him play for like small crowds and all this other stuff, and it was just really neat to see, for me, music be able to allow someone to basically have the rest of their end days actually be pretty good.
My grandmother went through that, and I mean, there was certain times when I would go visit her in the home in Florida, because I mean, she wasn't that far from my high school, so I would just ride my bike over there and visit her. There was times that she confused me with my dad. That got some good stories about my dad. I'll tell you that much. I would come home after a visit and be like, "Hey, so," and then he'd be like, "Boy, clean your room. Shut up." But I mean, watching her face at times when she realizes that she's confused, it's terrible. I mean, if there was anything that I could have done differently other than playing pinochle with her, because I mean, like playing card games with her, that seemed to calm her down. That seemed to do it. I mean, and for somebody who used to be a musician, I can see that being the same kind of thing.
It's like a grounding mechanism almost.
Yeah,
to ground them back down.
Makes sense. Makes a lot of sense, actually. And to be fair, we did kind of talk about music as a healing aid,
a little bit,
but more in how it helps you.
Yeah,
which I think was kind of the point of this. Really, was, for one, it was your idea, so we wanted to kind of get
you
your
kind of put me on blast there.
Yeah, we wanted to get your perspective on it, right?
Maybe I put that because I wanted to hear more about it on your podcast.
Well, we'll have to do that in another episode.
The subject of it.
Man, we're gonna need some mushrooms
do another
for this.
episode on it.
That'll be interesting.
And go camping and.
But no, I mean,
kumbaya.
I think that's just music in general. That's why when we came on, the more we talked like music as a healing problem, like yes, kind of, but it's more about just music and how it affects human beings, right?
Yeah.
And there are those moments where I hear a song like "The Spirit Carries On" from Dream Theater, and I can never not tear up because it's just such a powerful song, vocally and musically, that just
I have opposite reactions to certain things. Like there are songs that hit me. Oh man, like there's a song by Kitty in the Casket. I know it's a psychobilly band, and it's called "Open Waters." That song, for some reason, I linked it to you once, Bear. You didn't seem to like her vocals as far as anything goes, but that song, when I listen to it, it melts me.
Yeah.
But then there are other times where it's like, if I'm feeling bad, I'll put on something like "Get It Right" by Authority Zero, and that makes me just want to. Oh my God, give me a bike. I'm going to go ride and have some fun. I mean, it totally changes my perspective and my mood. Well, and that's how it heals me.
Yeah, and that's kind of the great thing about music. And I would imagine it's been this way for as long as music has existed, in the fact that it can invoke any emotion, and also it can invoke different emotions in different people. It just depends on how they hear it and how they perceive what the message of that song is, whether it has lyrics or not, right?
I mean, music's a different language.
Yeah.
It really is. And
But it's a universal language, which is the greatest thing
because
about it.
you don't have to understand the meaning behind it. It's just sounds.
Right.
There's no actual meaning behind it. It's what you interpret, which is I find awesome. And that music.
And there's also deep science into it as well.
Yeah. Like me, live shows are my favorite because when I hear a song that's powerful to me and means something to me, it's one thing. But when I see a group of people coming together to perform that, like in the moment, like actually seeing them create this thing out of nothing, like in that moment, it gives me chills. Like,
and everybody else in the crowd enjoying that exact moment.
It's a very like
intimate.
And I think, but I think also part of that too is that you can actually physically feel the song, right? Because you can feel the vibrations of the music, and that I think that's a whole nother level of understanding, and experiencing, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like listening to music on LSD.
I can't say that I've done that one, but
crazy,
it sounds like it'd be awesome.
Dark Side of the Moon.
It's a whole
Floyd. Do that at a laser light show while they're doing The Wizard of Oz. Yeah, there you go. That's all you need.
Pink Floyd is a huge influence on like when I jam to heal, because, and it's actually something Adam Jones from Tool said that he likes to try and add absence in his music, so no sound to create emotion. So there's long pauses between a chord or something, and there's more time to.
That's
for the music
always
to breathe.
freaky when they have like that just dead silent, and then it just powerhouse something right back into it.
And Pink Floyd is kind of that way, but it's more just simple. Like there's a lot of Pink Floyd songs
ambient sound.
Yeah, where it's very ambient, and there's just like, I mean, David Gilmour will just play like one or two notes that are just run on a delay and reverb, and it just sounds really cool. So a lot of times when I am healing, like that's where I'll start with a lot of stuff. Like I'll throw on some high delay and just hit a note that sounds good,
something that actually resonates through,
and just let it ring, and then eventually that leads into one or two or three notes coming together. And it's pretty cool stuff.
So another point, seeing how we're going to continue this conversation just a little bit longer, you had wrist issues and you couldn't play for a while.
Oh man, yeah.
So do you think, I mean, getting back, like after the surgery and everything else like that, playing again, do you find that is like a healing process? I mean, almost like a physical one because it's helping you get back into it and get over that wrist issue? I mean,
no, because the wrist issue I had, I can't even remember the name of it now. Once they did the surgery where they cut into my wrist and they opened up where the tendons are so that they had room to breathe, basically.
Yeah.
It was a 3-day recovery and my wrist felt fine. Felt like nothing wrong. So it was actually the opposite. It was frustrating. Like it was great to get back into music because I literally went a year without really being able to play.
But some of that muscle memory is gone.
Oh, a lot of it. Like because when you play a lot of metal stuff, it's not just simple chords and strumming. Like there's a lot, and especially the music I like to play, it's a lot of weird off rhythm, weird timing stuff. And it was really hard for me to even play songs, like even the songs I wrote that we wrote together. I didn't have the stamina, I didn't have the coordination to do it, and it was kind of discouraging. So I went back to playing just more simple stuff in terms of like acoustic.
Did you find yourself back also listening to music more often when you could, like, you say you used it as an outlet, and definitely there probably was those times that you couldn't have that outlet. Did you find yourself listening to particular kinds of songs or music just to get over that frustration?
I listen to music all the time.
So do
no
I.
matter what. Like literally no matter
It's
what.
on in the car. It's on.
Yeah. I listen to music that I love, and then I'm also every day trying to find new music. New underground bands, new sounds, any genre. It doesn't matter what it is. I really just like to hear the different things people can come up with.
I mentioned to you once, I was like, I just need instrumental music. And then I told you, I was like, I kind of like Animals as Leaders, like something like that. What do you got? And it was like, blam, 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 blam. Listen to all that. I was like, God damn, that's a lot. Nothing I would even saw.
Yeah, I'm really big on trying to find new music. Like really big on that.
If you like this, here's this. If you like
some
this,
of the coolest bands, some of my favorite bands today were from me trying to find just random music, like Niabla Viscaris. Mm-hmm. I found just scouring through Bandcamp, like the dredges of Bandcamp, and came across them and was like, how the hell do people not know about this band? And then shortly after, they were pretty big. Tesseract was the same. Like I heard Tesseract before they'd released their first album. It was just an EP they had, and immediately I was like, these guys are going to be fucking huge. Like, you just know when you hear that sound, you just know like these guys are going to be good. And I remember showing Bear, and Bear's like, this is really fucking dope, and they're huge now.
Yeah.
Like, we went and saw them live at Emo's when it was still on 6th Street, and there was probably like 70, 80 people there total, and now they sell out giant ass like big concert style venues.
And I will go see them anytime they come through.
Yeah.
Because they're that good.
I'm not that familiar with
So
the band,
I'm very big on finding new music because every now and then
I've
you
heard
find
their
a gem.
name. I'm not familiar with their music.
It's Degent.
Degent.
Yeah, that's what it's called, right?
Degent.
Degent.
Gent. Just gent.
I thought it was Degent.
No,
I've heard it called Degent.
that person's an idiot.
Well, that
And if
makes...
they're to listen to this, they're an idiot.
All right, so it's just Gent.
Yeah, just gent.
There you go.
Gent.
Gent.
It's like Meshuggah, basically. Meshuggah started that whole fucking genre. But it's a lot softer. It's more ambient and stuff. But
Okay.
it's that weird, just
well, they're
very
yeah,
rhythm,
they're-
bass-heavy guitar strumming that's not super intricate in terms of, like, I'm going to noodle around on the guitar like fucking Yngwie Malmsteen or some shit. It's more, I'm going to come up with really cool, weird rhythms that...
Mike has
sound
no
awesome.
idea who any of these people are.
I just went cross-eyed.
Yeah, but I'm sure you could rattle off a bunch of punk bands that we would never heard of.
You know
Yeah.
Stevie Ray Vaughan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, his style would be like, he's crazy. He's playing all kinds of
Oh,
shit.
Jesus
it's really
Christ, he's
technical.
crazy.
That's not really what most gent is. Most gent is more like, I mean, I guess a band I could use that you know is kind of like some of the more rhythmy parts of Tool, where it's just weird, very bass-heavy rhythms.
Link it to me.
Kind of.
Link it to me. There you go. That's. I will research this and be hip.
All right, well, now that we've gotten off the topic of music is healing again, I'm actually out of beer now. So we're going to end it.
You need.
I've been out of beer for like 25 minutes.
We should have brought a case in
And you
here.
guys call me a fucking
We talked
alcoholic.
about bringing a cooler in here, but
Busbea.
$1,200.
I got alcohol for the next like year.
Yeah, year.
6 months.
Hey man, I'm generous when I throw parties, all right?
Yes, you are.
We appreciate it.
So again, we appreciate you coming on, man. It's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
glad that we got to have you as our first guest.
This has been awesome. Yeah, I dig this.
Yeah.
We need to have you back sometime.
I'll come back.
Cool.
Find something to talk about.
Yeah, we'll find another topic.
Could tell you about Bear's past or something. It could be totally non-music related. I got a great story.
No, we
for
have to
that
try
one.
to keep this music related.
Yeah,
in
we're
some
gonna
kind
we're
of
gonna
way.
keep it music related and keep that story out of it.
Oh.
Yeah, that story. All right. Once again, my name's Bear,
I'm Michael the Wolfman Hart.
and this is BearHart.